Testing. Testing. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday. Half the week is over. And we are going to rock this thing for the next 2 hours as we build a bridge. How exciting is that? I know you guys have been sitting on the edge of your seats all week long to see a bridge being built. And tonight, your wildest dreams are going to come true. For we are building a stone bridge. On Monday, I scrapped what little work we did on making a bridge because, quite honestly, it was not looking as good as I wanted it to be. And so I did some sketches, had a better approach to it, and we're going to rock this thing tonight a lot more than we did. Right now, we're going to concentrate on making this to be a very simple one. 2 by 4, but we want that to be the width. So we're going to make it actually, and I'm just making these for measurements. And it seems like it's going to be super short, but we're going to make it so, let's do it 2 by 5, or 4 by 5 rather. The width part is actually going to be, the walking part is just going to be 10 feet wide. But we're going to account for the side, which is going to be the anchor points right here, the actual crossing of it, and then the railing is going to only be half of it. These are 1-inch squares. I've already measured them. They're good to go. They look lovely as they are. So we're only going to make it this size, but eventually I'm going to make it modular so that it can be stretched out and placed on, make much longer bridges. Like I said, I want to be able to adjust this bridge to being whatever size I want it to be. So let's start off with what we struggled with the other day, and that would be this. 2 millimeters to begin with. We're starting off with the basic part of the bridge, which is the flagstone. I've got my chosen adult beverage beside me to keep my whistle wet. So let's start off with making an edible poly, like we do with just about everything else. Welcome everybody who's rolling in. We started a couple minutes early today, but you haven't missed anything. We are making a bridge. That's right, 4 by 5 bridge. We're starting over from scratch with a new approach and a new vision, just like we did with the trees. Second time is always the better one. All right. On this one, it's going to be very simple. We're just going to keep this basic piece here, and then we're going to, we can just do the bevels fine. We're going to bring it in with the bottom number and come in about, I don't know, maybe 2 millimeters. That seem about right? Works for me. We push the plus sign to execute that measurement, but then zero out that next entity because the plus sign will duplicate whatever the last command was. So we're back to where it was. Now we want to go up with the height. That's the first one. And in this case, I want it to be about, I want to say maybe 12 millimeters. That's starting to get pretty high up there, but that's all right. That's good enough. Now, on this one, we want to come back and make the same headstone as we did the flagstone. So if that's the case, we want to push plus and zero back out the height. That way we're as we are. And then we come out the same distance, which is 2 millimeters, because we did that earlier. So that way, if you go to the top view and you look down, it's exactly the same size as the bottom. You push plus to execute that 2 millimeter, but we zero out so we can not do another one. And we do the upside. Now, how high was this one? I want to say that was 2 millimeters as well. I want to say everything was 2 millimeters, make it easy for me to remember. And I would be right. Very simple. Very, very simple. All right. From here, I want to add a, basically a lantern. A very simple one. I want it to be rhombus or diamond shaped. Your traditional lanterns that you can remember, especially with the, well, I mean, even now we've got people that have porch lights that have this type. It basically has a wrought iron lattice to it, and then in between is just pieces of glass, and then inside is the light. That's basically what we're going to do here. This is a huge, huge piece. So we're going to make it a little bit bigger than we usually would be. I mean, typically it would not be, the light would not be that big, but we're going to make it anyway because we can get away with it. So in that case, let's go ahead, and we could have just kept on beveling, but whatever. I don't want that height. What I want is to bring it in, and we're going to bring it in quite a bit. Let's make it 8. That's quite a bit. Push plus, zero it out. Did it just, yeah, it just like backed up enough. That's weird. All right, sometimes it does that. What happened was when I hit this plus sign, sometimes it gets really anxious and it doubles up the plus, or it feels like you pushed it 2 times when you really only pushed it once. Just back up, hit Z. Don't cancel out on this. Just back up to where you were, and then you want to push plus once, zero it out, and now you can go up like this. We want to put just a little bit of a up piece before we actually start with the land. So we'll just make it go 1.5 is fine. I like to try to start being more precise on my measurements. Because it just makes it a little bit easier when you're doing your prints. And it's cleaner model. So let's go ahead and push plus again. If we can do it. Come on. And now we want to, well, we actually want to do both. We want to go up. Let's say about 5 millimeters. Because now, keep in mind, we're up to about, this was 12 millimeters. This was 2, this was 2. So 2 and 2 is 4, and 12 is 16. This is about 1.5, so now we're at 17.5. This is 5, so now we're at 22.5. Keep in mind, over here, when we're going to build our cylinder of our standard Mini, that's how big the Mini is. So keep in mind that. Always keep in mind when you're building stuff to make sure you're not putting stuff just completely disproportionate. You can disproportion a couple of models, but just don't go too crazy if you're wanting to keep it all consistent. All right, so now that we've got this, we can go in here, cancel. Oop, I did not want to. I had not clicked the check mark box, so it had not executed. So push the plus, though. Oh, no. I screwed up. Don't push the plus yet. Push the bevel first because we want to make this thing a diamond. Let's make this, is it 4? Can that go out there? That seems like it might, that probably is going to need supports, but it won't be that bad. It can be cleanable because there's just tons of space right there. You just pop that stuff right out. I think it might be, there's an outside chance that might not need supports. That's pretty high up percentage and whatnot. Push plus, we do not want it to keep going because that is really massive. But what we want to do is have it have sort of a band before we go to the next piece. So make it, 1.5, which is the same height as down here to keep it consistent. Push the plus sign. 0, well, push this to, we were at 5 again. It was the same height as here because we're needing to keep this all symmetrical because it just helps my OCD. And then -4, which was the dimension to make it outward like that. Again, we can stretch this all we want, but that basically is it. That definitely does not look like the the rhombus I was hoping for. Microsoft account problem. We need to fix your Microsoft. I doubt it because you've been saying that ever since I upgraded to 10. So we'll just go ahead and ignore that and continue on. In fact, what we'll do is move to F. And we are going to... I think we're going to try to select all this together. And, oops, boy, it skipped in there. And make it higher like this. Bring it up. Yeah, I know, we've kind of screwed up all that measurement that we were doing. So nice job of keeping it consistent, but yeah, not anymore. That still does not look like what I want. It's mainly because of this up here, and this down here is not narrow enough. So let's go to top view and bring those down more than what we had it to begin with. Ooh, yeah, that looks totally like it, what I was looking for. Grab the middle part. Let's get it down to about the middle section there. And, oops, let's go P. Let's go P indeed. Maybe bring that up just a tad bit. Bring it in more. Keep going. Keep going. It looks like a lava lamp. Hey, we're getting there. We're getting there. Boy, that's a big pillar, though. If you look at that, look at that. That's a full-grown person right there, and it's towering above it. We may want to shrink this whole thing down a little bit just so it's not so overbearingly tall. So let's bring it down. And then let's keep this consistent because I like the proportion. It's just the size is too big. So let's bring it down a notch. Really don't want it to be up tall. I just want it to be flat. We can actually bring it back up then. That's just adorable. And it seems a little bit disproportionate. Something is not quite as cool as I like it to be. And it's really, I think it's the overall proportion between the lamp and the pillar. I want to keep it about the same. So I'm going to say screw it and bring it right back to what I'm going to do. I'm going to Control Z this bad boy. Oops, not that far. And I'm going to bring this thing back down. And that's not quite flat, which sucks. And it's still probably not flat, but that's close enough. All right, so that's getting better. That's what we had to begin with, and we could have done it that way, but that's fine. I'm going to save this. Save. Boom, 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 boom. What is this? 4x5. Let's make it a new one. And there we go. Excellent. All right, now what we're going to do, because we're going to make 4 of these, but we don't need to make 4 of them separately until one of them is complete. And then we just copy them over. So let's work with the stone next, which is consisting of right here. And what we do with this is we just do the connect button like we've done in the past, and we just add quite a number to it. Now, do I want a lot of big pieces? Do I want it more like cultured stone, which is the narrow kind like it is now? And the answer is I don't know. So I'm going to probably go in there and say, 5 seems to be a good number. We'll do that. And then we're going to go to F and just select those pieces right there. Oop, and push L. And do the same thing with Shift, with Control. I think I screwed up there. Yeah, I did. You want to hold down Control and just select that. That way you have them all the way around. You don't have to worry about necessarily the top part yet. We might have to do it eventually, but it would just screw up things because we're just trying to make some lines here. It's not going to be about turbo smooth or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about that. I want it to have maybe as few as that. I don't want it very complicated. My drawing has 1, 2, 3, 4 height, which is not really that, but it's maybe 3. Whatever. That's good enough. All right. I cannot see the lines very well. There we go. Bright blue. All right. Now what we're going to do is make just about every face uneven, which is going to be kind of tedious, but bear with me. This is just how it goes. What we're going to do here, since this whole thing is done on one edible poly, we should have broken that up a little bit. We're going to make a new one. And this is going to be basically beveling each one of these outward. So we're going to do this. And I'm going to try to keep these as inconsistent as I possibly... Nope, I don't want that one. As I possibly can. Because I don't want these to be... I don't want it to seem universal. I want these now to be more or less weird and uneven. Yeah, stuff like this. And this will be the first one. So we go to bevel, and then we change this to normal, local normals. Remember, that one allows it to extrude the faces from the anchor point, from the center of the object. So we want to do that because everything wants to go in the direction of wherever it's facing. So we'll go in there, and as we stick it out, they're all going in their own direction as they should. Let's bevel this in a little bit. Let's keep this consistent because we're going to be doing this a lot for the other ones. So 0.5, negative 0.25. Let's see what that does. Let's see if that's too much. Yeah, it's good enough. So 0.5, negative 0.25. If you got to write that down, fine, do it, so we don't forget. I do not have a pen with me, so we'll just deal with it. The next thing is I'm going to just add another edible poly, and we're going to be doing the same thing, but we're doing it differently this time. Differently. Follow along with me. Follow, follow, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me. But don't lose your grip. Do do. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop. Doop. Mr. Person, you're going to have to leave here pretty soon because you keep getting in my way when I spin it around. Because you spin me right round, baby, right round. All right, 0.5, negative 0.25. All right. Now, the problem is I don't want these all to be the same because then it just looks, I mean, yeah, it'll be in uneven blocks, which is great. But they're all the same size. So let's make it out to 1. And let's make this 0.1. Something like that. Now we've got a little bit of inconsistency. You see that? You see that? You see that? That's good, right? All right. Let's add another one because there's still more pieces left. Oh, this one, leave that by itself. That one, that one, those two, that, oops, that one, there. And that one. And that one. The rest of them will be left alone. Lucky little turds. All right, this time we're going to make it come out, but not that much. Not 2.5, about 2.5. How about that? But we're going to make it come in. Can we do 0.1? No, we cannot. That's way too close. 0.8. We're looking for a little. Yeah, we're looking for a little bit of gap there. Little bit of gap. All right. Now we've got some inconsistencies. It looks like I had just bricks laying around, and I borrowed some bricks from my cousin, and then I borrowed, some bricks from behind Walmart, and just put it together on a weekend project while I was drinking beer. Speaking of which, tasty. Ooh, burns all the way down. All right. So what do we do now, kids? All right. So at this point, I guess we can save it. And we need to do something about the lantern, because I don't like the way it is. Make sure that I got the right one. Yep. So these are going to have to be basically hollowed out. What we can do, which would probably be better, we don't want all of this, but or do we? Well, we can chamfer those edges. Nope, that did not want to go through. Hey, now, quit. All right, that's better. All right, make that a lesson for all you guys. Let's just go ahead and make the top piece too, because, why not? Make sure that we've got all of them selected. We're just looking for the corners. We're not looking for anything else, and the top, but just those corners. We don't want the, okay, that was just overlining. And what we're going to do is we're going to chamfer this. Why? Because stonework, I don't care how great of a stone master you are, stonework is not 90-degree angles. They're close. I mean, they're 90-degree angles to a certain point, but if you actually measured them, yeah, they'd be 90, but that degree of radius at the corner would definitely not be. So I'll take it back. It's not the 90-degree. It's the angle of it's the actual radius of the corners. Those are not going to be sharp like that. They will always have a little bit of little bumpy bump. We don't want too much, but we don't want it to be completely sharpened. Now the problem is I want it to be a little sharpened here, or unsharpened here, but I need this to be more of a bander, because this is going to be metal. This is going to be the metal piece. This is a banding, and then the banding goes up to the top. Well, I don't want it that thin. I want it a lot thicker. Well, that's fine. We're still good to go. What we're going to do is we're going to touch these pieces here. We're going to turn on our concentrate. We're going to get the scale down, and we're going to try to scale this bad boy so that it stays. Oh, I did something wrong. I want these two pieces as well. And I want, ooh, man, that did not turn out really pretty there. I want it to be like this, but we can't always have what we want. But sometimes we get what we need. So delete. Why me? We don't want to delete those. We just want to delete that. No. What am I doing? I want it to just go like this, and then to here, and then back to this, and then there. I hate when it does this. This is so annoying the way it happens like this, because you want it just to go straight across and then straight up. Instead of it bunching here, I want it bunched up at the top. So you theoretically can do that, I guess. Go in here and you can delete all these if you really wanted to and do it this way. All right, you're watching? You watching? You watching? Watch this. Boom, 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 boom. For now. Boom, 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 ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. Something like that. Now, now we cut. This looks ugly. Why are you doing it this way? It's because this is how it's done. Turn off cut. Keep your edges on. Grab all of your pieces just on the first layer. Make sure you're on the move. Make sure your snap is off. Make sure your edges constraint is on. That way you bring it on down. And you just eyeball it. It does not matter where you bring it down as long as you just kind of get it in the ballpark. Something like this. Something like that. Now, you see how nice that is? You see how nice that is? It's a lot nicer, but it still looks like crap. Why? Because it's all flat. So you need to bring all of these pieces, just the pyramid, just the Illuminati one, up so that it has a little bit better pizzazz. And you don't want the constraints on because we're going abnormal. And then out. Keep moving the camera around. Keep moving back and forth. Look at it from every direction. Make sure that you're doing this right. Because if you're not, it's going to look like crap like that. Don't be afraid to just grab the middle one and bring out. You're dead. And then you got this one that didn't work right because it sucked. It needed to have all three. There. Now we got something a lot prettier. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Yeah, I beat you to it. All right, something like that. All right, now that everything is nice and pretty and things like that, we still need, we're going to have to do that with all four sides, but we don't have to worry about that just yet because I want to expand this. Oh, good grief. Let's zoom in because I can't click on it. This, and this. And then we're going to put the constraint back on, get your scale back on, and you're going to cheese whiz it. Ooh, that did not want to see that. That's not looking good. It all wants to go different directions. That's not really pleasant. How do we solve this? You deselect one side entirely. And then you go into your main menu move transform thing. And you move along the x-axis. And you figure out what you want to do. 0.5 seems like a good one to me. And then you go and do it to the other side. The wild side. And this is going to be negative on the y-axis because you're going this way, y-axis. So it'd be, I don't know if it's negative or not. We'll try. Negative. Nope, that was not the right direction. It should have been positive. 0.5. Same direction, or same distance. Now you have equidistance there. And you've got something nice and pretty. You can actually go in here and do a few more things to it if you really wanted to. I mean, you can go in here and make it like 0.25. 0.25. I don't know what that was. I wasn't paying attention. 0.15. This is way more effort. Nope. Way more effort than I need to be doing right now. 0.05, I guess. 0.05, something like that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just matters that we got that piece as big as we can right there, which is good. But the problem is we still got to do it for other pieces. So what do we do in this regard? Well, we could Do it the lazy way, which is the way I like to do it. You make another editable poly, go to F, select everything that is according to that lantern. Nothing else, just that. Detach it from the main body over here on the right. And now what we can do, knowing that we've got the ultimate one, we go to edge, we go straight across. Let's do this. Doesn't really matter, does it? And then go to connect. Don't worry that it's not level. It's fine. We're going to level that out. And we're going to make it Y right here so it's on the same plane. Now we can go ahead and delete. Well, shit. We could actually do it once again on this side because we really don't need anything but that little corner right here because we've done that. Push the X in this case because it's this way. And now you can go ahead and actually delete everything but the corner that we've done. Literally everything. Don't be shy. It's not that big a deal. And then what are we going to do with this? We're going to make sure our effect, it's still in the center. No, it is not. It is definitely not in the center. It needs to be right on the smack dab center of this. So we turn our effect pivot on from the third tab over. And we make sure that we actually click the alignment tool and click the actual piece here. Make it centered. Turn off the Z for now and just put the X and Y. This actually is probably not going to work. Let's go with the T. Oops. Let's cancel and go to T. And do it this again. Because we want it to not be in the center. We want it to be in the corner. And right now, it does not want to be anywhere but that little spot right there. See that? Can't quite get it in. Can't quite get it there. That's a bunch of malarkey is what it is. That's a bunch of malarkey. So, let's at least get this thing back up and running to where it's closer. Let's do the Z-axis. And minimum, man, it just doesn't want to believe in itself. What it's doing is using the original pillar that it was a part of. Remember this thing we used to be a part of the whole thing? Yeah, that's not the case anymore, but it doesn't know that. So right now trying to angle this in the right proper format. Woo. It did go up that one. That's not bad. We can live with that. As long as it's on somewhere near that thing. We just still need to get it to where it's not on that piece there. It's actually on the corner. And in order to do that, turn off the Z. Go over here and look at things. Oop, oop, oop. We may have a winner chicken dinner. That's on the edge. That's on the right edge. And that's on the corner. Now check this out. I go here. Bang. Right there. It's on the corner. That's what we want because we're going to be using the array tool. And it's going to spin and copy this piece in 360 degrees. Arrays underneath your tools right here. Turn on preview. And all we want to do is we want to make 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to make 3 copies of this. We want it to be copied, not instanced, because we're going to fuse this together. So we want to make copied. And then go to the rotate, click the right one, and click 360. Because we need it to go 360 degrees. And that, my friend, is not what we wanted, because we needed 4, not 3. See how you know that? You just basically try to figure it out. When it says the count, it actually is counting the original one, which is kind of stupid, because you're not making that county. Click on OK because that's what we wanted. Look at that. It's a beautiful thing. We did not have to do anything other than that one corner, and now we got it together. But it's not together in one piece. So pick any of them. Go back to your Edit Poly on the modifier and find Attach, which is right here in the first column. Attach all 4 together and attach the base to it. Attach everything. Just go nuts, folks. First thing we need to do is get this thing attached back to the base. All of these pieces here, see how that's not... Ooh, that's not working right. Yeah, it's not matched up. If you look closely, it looks like it's matched up. But when I go to a wireframe, the gray line here is the hole to the base, and this is the actual segment of that light fixture. How do you fix that? Very, very simply. Because it really is immaterial. Actually, I'd back up before he attached it to the base. And what you do here is you go in here and select everything but that cylinder shaft. All of the right side. So now we've got, this is the part here that's not lined up. You can see the blue now right there. It does not, that's the base hole, and we need to make this thing fit perfectly. The radius is already fitting. It's just it's off-centered. So you just want to move it in a little bit. You know, it's not going to make that centerpiece centered anymore because it's going to be off-centered, but who cares? It doesn't matter. All that matters is trying to get these pieces to fit perfectly. We're looking for that corner there. We just use the snap tool and bring it back over so it snaps perfectly into that hole again. That's important. Now we can go ahead and attach it. Attach that bad boy. And now we go in there. First thing we need to do is attach to the base like we said. Make sure you're just selecting those 5. And it says right there, 10 vertices right here. You click weld and it goes. It looks like it's about to crash on me. It sure did. All right, so for absolutely zero reason, it decided it didn't like to weld 5-hole vertices or 10-hole vertices together. The nice thing is with Max, unlike Maya, it sometimes has an ability to save a copy. You click on OK. And it says the scene has been saved. It tells you where it is. That's great. Now you go in here, you leave them a dirty message, and we reboot Max, which the second time you boot up, it doesn't take near as long as the first time because it's already cached and everything like that. For years, I used to leave dirty messages whenever it crashed, and it sends it to Autodesk. And supposedly there is some, like, people that read those somewhat, because I've had people that have claimed that they've had responses from people from Autodesk. I don't believe a word in it. I've been sending stuff to Autodesk for 15 years. Every time the thing used to crash, I would do it all the time. Here's the thing. This is how you find your backed up file really, really easy. Click on Open. By default, no matter what you do, it's going to put it under the scenes, and then you just go back, go to Auto Back, and it's going to always be the first file. That always is the case. But remember, once you have this opened, you're opened up a recovered file. It's not your actual main file, so you need to go back to where you were, save it again as a plus. That way you've got it ready to go. Don't be fooled into thinking that you're saving a file like a good one. You're saving it over the recovery file, so don't do that. That's not good because those files will get overwritten real easily. Let's try. It looks like it welded all of my vertices, even though it crashed. It welded every one of my vertices. Let's see if this does it again. All right, we got 10 over here. Let's click the settings this time, and let's turn it down to 0.01. That did it. And then do the same thing. And it's 0.5. And it just stays the same each time. Now we need to fuse these pieces together. We need to grab them. Oop. I grabbed this piece here. We need to just grab the center piece. Because remember, these are all separate right now. We need to fuse these things together, but we need to keep an eye on when we weld them to make sure that they don't overlap themselves. We got 40 vertices selected right here. It says right there it needs to be 20 when we get done. And it says 19. So that means one of them is naughty. Let's make sure we did it right. It looks like nothing jumped the gun. Well, that looks like it's all right. So let's just continue then. Usually it means that one of the vertices went too far and welded with a farther away vertice. Like this vertice accidentally melded with that one when there's an even number. 37 now vertices are selected here. Let's see what it has at. Number 19 again. Looks good to me. It's all fused and ready to go. All right, so now that we got this pretty little thing doing, now we need to go in there and cut some holes into it, because otherwise the light is not going to ever come out. And yeah, this is supposed to be glass, but back in the days of yore, they would definitely not put glass in these things. It'd be wide open so the air could go in, because it'd be torches or lanterns or something. Go ahead and delete that, because we don't need it. It gets in the way. At this point, what we can do is, I think we might be able to get away with just using what's called a shell. We've used that before. Shell modifier. Add your modifier right here, shell. And what that does is make it poofier. We don't want to go outward. We want it to go inward. And we don't go too far, because we don't want polys to overlap itself. And there's polys that are really close together right there, and that can be a problem if they overlap themselves on accident. So we need it to have some thickness, but not too much. And that may just not be working right, because I don't know if that's not really thick that I wanted it. I want it to be a lot thicker than that. Yeah, that was a problem that I thought, because I almost think that we should have not chamfered the thing to begin with, because that's what's causing all this issue right now. Because now we've got all these polys that are so close together here. If we extend the shell out any farther, see how it starts to overlap? They get too close together, and then they start overlapping. And you really can't do that. And really, that's not, I don't think that's thick enough. That's only 0.7 millimeters thick. Yeah, I want it to be a lot thicker. So I would say I'm going to see if this one had the chamfer. It did not. Good. Perfect. All right, so we backtracked. Excellent. This is before we did the inevitable chamfer. So right now what we're going to do is add another poly. We're going to delete. Did we do it all here? No, it did not look like we did. Wait a minute. We didn't add the third. Dadgummit. Didn't add that third piece there. Or we didn't extrude the third piece. All right, well. Yeah, see, we did one. We did two, but we didn't do the third one. Dang it. All right, well. Real quick, I kind of liked how that was. I really wish I could have left it that way. But, c'est la vie. That's how it is. Hopefully I remember what my numbers were. It's definitely not the same, but that's close enough. All right, I want to say that we did it, we just did 0.5. No. We did 2.5. And then I want to say we did 0.8. That's what that one did. No, we didn't do 0.8. Oh, we already did the third. Yeah, we did. I'm sorry. We already did the third, because that was this is one. That was the second one, and that's the third one. I'm an idiot. So yeah, if You turn it off. There's 1, 2, 3. Yep. Sorry. I'm stupid. All right, so in this case, let's just get on with it. Get on with it. Do I want that? Do I want that? I want it. Let me think here. I feel like I do want to chamfer this, but I just want to chamfer just this piece up here. I wonder if I could do that and bevel it. Let's try this. We're going to try to bevel, all right? Let's see what this does. That does pretty damn good, and I don't want it to be jut out. I just want it to be thicker, like that. Yeah, like that. And then we'll make it like 1. Do I want to make it come out? I do. 0.5. And now we're going to do the same thing. Did we do it to all? We did it to every one of these? Did we? We did. Let me back up. Back the truck up. Not ready for this commitment. Undo the middle banding, because I don't want that. There we go. There we go. That's better. That's better. That's better. Close. Close enough. Nope. Yep. Doop. 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 There we go. Let's save this as 5. Never oversave. All right, let's go ahead and dream these bad boys into oblivion. Boom. Now what we can do is select all of this. I believe so. And then we can extrude this, maybe? Make sure it's local. Yeah, maybe. You know, that may work. That may work. Oh my goodness. I'm okay with that. Nice. But let's make it come up just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. Because right now it is in the... Yeah, there we go. Come off of it a little bit. Do I want it to have a little cap on the top? Let's see what it looks like. Bevel. It's got a little crown. Plus, doot, 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 doot. Maybe I'll leave it that way. That's going to definitely give me some supports there, right there, and that's not really worth it. So let's at least bring them back in a little bit. Bring it back on, bring it back on. Tonight. Doop. Doop. There we go. There we go. I'm okay with that. There's still a big gaping hole inside my base. Way down in there. You see it? Let me go in here and look outwards. Hello! I'm stuck in my own pillar. Please let me out. Ooh, perfect. Thank you. What can we do to seal this up? Well, not a whole lot, because it's all a part of the outer shell here that comes up the pillar and up this little lamp. And there is a base here and a side ledge. And then it goes up and then back and then actually up again. Is that paper thin? Uh-oh. We've got a problem, boys. We can't have paper thin inserts. You see how paper thin this is? This is the outside looking in. Yeah, you can't have thickness of polygons. We need to seal this up so it's all solid. I didn't see that. And we need to do it for the base. So what do we do with this? I don't know if we'll be able to seal this off, but we're going to try. Border. Nope, because that'll make a hole right there, and we're just going to just cap the hole. We don't want that. We want the inside to be solid. And I really don't want to make, I don't want to make polys, but I guess I will. So yeah, you can go in here and just go and try to see if you can't seal these bad boys off, because it, like that, and now you've got it to be solid. Did it actually hold though? Just because you made a poly doesn't mean that it's one. Yeah, it says one vertice. Oh my God! Don't make me do that. Oh man. Fine. But I'm not going to like it. Okay, next. Making polys. Okay, there we go. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now we got to do for the top. Oh man, what are we going to do for the top? Oh, yeah, that's not too bad. We can, I think we can go like this. I think it'll let me do this. Ooh, man. Get me vertigo. Little dizzy here looking upside down. Making just my rounds like that. And seals that cap off. That way it's all closed up. And all this crap that's inside it, woo, in here. Yeah, they don't care. Oh, you can go down these little tubes here. You're like, whoa. Yeah, I'm confused too. All right, we need to do the same thing for the bottom though. That is really driving me nuts, but that's okay. How are we going to get this base? Oops, dang it. Sorry guys, don't make you sick. Don't make you sick. Oh, I know. Is that a paper thin? Yes, it is. Dang it. Dang it. What if it wasn't paper thin? What if we extruded it out? Man, what do we do here? Needed just to come in just a tad bit. And we can't extrude, like extrude inward, because that's not going to work, because that'll, oops. Local polys always, because it makes it, you see that outline around that right here? Yeah, that's what happens when you extrude inward, and it doesn't work very well that way, because it still looks like crap. Something wrong here. I want to say if we delete these which is the supports. I know. Bear with me. And then take the border and select this. So we just have the inside. We've got the inside base here. And we bring it. What do we do here? I want this to come up. But I want this piece in here to be sealed off. That's not going to work at all. All right, while I think we just have to seal off some other things first. So, first one we need to seal off is this side here. We did this earlier. I think this will be good enough. This will be okay. Nope, it definitely did not like that. Why? Because we like you. Oh, I did it wrong. Let's see, did I undo create poly? Yeah. Sometimes when it says you made it and it shows that you didn't, you really made it, and they don't show it, and I don't like that. Okay, so it's always good when you do something and nothing happens to go back and make sure and do the undo. There we go. There we go. See, that's what I'm thinking, is we do that. And then we do that. We do it this way. So once I get those around, we do it that way, and then this piece goes there and connects. Yeah, that's how we do it. Okay, I see what we're doing now. So we need to continue on our mission of mercy. Connect, 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 connect. Connect, connect. See how confusing this is? It's always about, oh, hey, everybody. Man, there's a lot more people that got surged on all of a sudden. Neat. Well, welcome, everybody. We are sitting here drinking some adult beverages and trying to figure out problems. In this case, math problems. All you got to do now is to seal this whole piece up here is to just hit your border and cap it. And what happens is this ridiculousness of piece here, and that's why I totally lied to you. Do not do that. Instead, make more polys in the middle. Oh, good thing we just copied this 3 other times so we don't have to worry about doing this a whole bunch of times. But it is kind of a pain in the butt. There are ways to make this thing like latticed, but it's not built the same way that I like it. Now let's see. Ooh, this may look really sexy now. You click this, click your cap, boom, just like that. Click this, click your cap. Don't run away from me, sis. Right there. Cap that. Captain America right there. All right. Now this is starting to get a little bit groovier. I think we can do the same thing for the bottom. That doesn't look right. Nope, it doesn't. You see how that V's out? We don't want that. We don't want that. So what we do want is to, you guessed it, create a poly. But just make the triangle here. Because this is what's the awkwardness. Yeah, you tell me what that looks like right now. But you make the V here because if you go to border and then cap, that way it's smooth. It's just a flat poly. And then, yeah, that looks totally inviting. So let's go back to polys, make create, and then all you got to do is just make the little triangles all the way around. All around the world, same song. All right, now you go to border, And you can just click on all these at once and then cap them all together, because they're all going to just do what they want to do, say what they want to say, live how they want to live, dance how they want to dance. Addams Family. Now we're going back and we're going to delete what I originally was planning on doing. Deleting this bottom part here. And why we're doing that is because now we've got a really nice situation here. We've got an outer ring, which we select with border, and we have this base here that's opened. Those two pieces need to fuse together. Then we've got an inner piece that is your inside part, which is right here. That needs to fill itself, and then that will be the base of this. This will seal this off. So, because I don't want a hole all the way through this thing. I want it to look like it's solid. So right now, what we're going to do is fuse these two together, and what we do is the bridge tool, and that bridges those together, nice and clean. But we still got this inner piece here, and this piece, you can see that, I mean, it looks like there's stuff in there, but it's all black. But if you move it around, there's like a lip. There we go. You can actually see there's a hanging lip there. And all you got to do is just click cap. All you got to do is click cap. Now it looks like it is solid. It looks like it's fitting onto the base with a solid piece, and there's no hole there. That is one solid piece. When that prints, that's going to be super, super strong, and you're going to have a good time with it. So that's what we want to do. Isn't that beautiful? I think it's adorable, and so adorable I'm going to save as a new file. Okay, let's get Mr. Peabody out of the way, because we know we've made it to this far. All right, so that's part of the bridge right there. I mean, that's like 1/4, because, hello, instance, select both, hold down shift with your snap tool on, make sure they're all instanced, and then what you do to make this thing really kind of unique, you just, you make sure that this right here, snap angle snap, you turn it 90 degrees, you turn this 180 degrees, and then you turn this, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 270 degrees. So now, if you look at it, all three on this side are different. Look at all three of them. They look similar, but they're not the same. And that's important, because you've basically just made 4 different pieces, and at a glimpse, no one's going to notice that they're identical. If you left them the same orientation, yeah, people might pick up on that. But if you look at it from any direction, they're different. They're all different, because I made all 4 sides different, and then I rotated each one 90 degrees farther than the previous one. So these two are 90 degrees apart. Now that we have this beautiful thing, now we need to actually make, we'll make the first step, which this is going to be the actual bridge part. This is going to be the steps, and we need them to be more or less like the flagstones, but we'll make them a little bit bigger. So let's bring it up to, say, right there, so that they look a little bit bigger. We can always adjust this later and make these flagstone pieces, the base pieces, just as big as a step, but it's just a preference. You know, right now I don't know if I like it bigger, but I don't want them too thin. I need it to be a nice stone piece here. I want to split the thing in half, not that way, because this is going to be, you're going to make it, when you're printing for the grid, you want to try to do your best to actually put part of the grid on your model as best you can, so it prints out with the grid. And the nice thing about that is that way it's really, really easy to line that thing up, because it's already got its own grid. So we'll extrude and chamfer these edges here so that it will be 1-inch squares automatically. So when it sits down, all this thing snaps so perfectly to a scaled print that you don't have to worry about anything. All right, so we're going to move this over to the other side, copy it, hold down Shift, Make sure it's instance because we're going to make these identical. Snap it to a Slim Jim right there. Oops, I did not want to go that version. Back to P. Ooh, that was the bottom. Push the bottom, actually. Flip that bad boy around. All right. So because this is water, it is going to go off the ground, but this one is the flat one, but we're going to put some arcs in it. Arches in it anyway. So the next piece is going to be the same space. I really wanted to put another piece, like a half shell right there, but the pieces are not going to fit really well on that. You could get away with doing this if this piece was like that. Because the piece is going to be angled if it's sitting on top. I mean, you'd have to remove, I don't want it to overhang like that. Basically, you'd be, something like that. You can get away with this. But the piece is always going to be kind of at an angle, listing a little bit. But it can get away with it if you're wanting to get some kind of a little step without interfering with the main bridge part. But you just don't want this thing to be very tall, this second piece. I mean, you just make it so it's an afterthought. You could also, if you're going to do it that way, you could do this. You know what I'm talking about. If I can get it right. No, I don't want to do that. Move it here. And then take this, and I want to move it back to its, copy it, edit, clone, copy. I want the same thing, but I'm going to be using it as a piece here. I'm going to go inward. I want to go the middle part. So it snapped to the middle of the copy. I've got another stone here. I've got two pieces on top of each other. And I used this piece so that I could snap to its middle section. So I would have this second piece right here. And this is at the second piece. Then I would take this and raise it. Not with the shift. Just like that. Take it from here to here with your lock tool, so it'll go up the same height. And now you've got three different pieces. At that point, you probably want to lower this whole thing down a tad bit, because now it kind of looks abnormal the way that first step is huge, but the second step isn't. You can do what you want, but that may be better. And then I'm going to group it so that I can use the align just on the Z. Middle max. I did that because I want them both to stay, these pieces to stay the same distance from each other right now. If I had them loose and I clicked align height, then it would both of those pieces would be equal, sitting right on the top of this. But now that they're combined, it takes the bottom of this group and puts it at the top of this piece. If they were not grouped, it would take this piece and this piece independently and snap them both to the top of this so that they would be flush. You can temporarily make groups and then ungroup them. I use them all the time. It's basically for alignment purposes. But now there you go. You got that thing. And we can go over here and make sure those are instanced. Mirrored. Like that. Now we're still on the grid. We're still doing fine. It will be a little bit awkward for minis to sit on there, but it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be terrible. And actually, we can pull these back a little bit because there's a huge gap right there. I wonder if we should move it up one more time. I don't think we should. Let me see. Let's just see what it looks like. We can always delete it later. Okay. And then that's the right height. And now it needs to go back exactly the halfway point between here and here. It needs to go, this front piece needs to be shoved back to right there. Well, to do that, you just make another copy of this piece, this top piece. And then with the copy, you take just the front, make sure your snap's on, and you're going to move it back. Doesn't matter, any of these 3 rows, you can grab one of them, and you're looking for, see how this piece is in the middle? I grabbed it from the wrong one. I need to make sure I grab it from the very top. Nope. Maybe over here. I need to grab this one. And it needs to snap to that purple one. See how that just snapped right there? It's right there in the middle section. That's clean. That's what you want. Perfect. Awesome. See how that just didn't do exactly what it was supposed to do? Yeah, well, it sucks. Let's try it again. Not sure why it's doing that. I am going to try a secret. See, I've got two of them selected. If I delete one, the other one's still there. I'm going to go back to my vertice. I've isolated these things so it can't be interfered with anything else. It does not want... There, it did it. Okay, that's what I wanted. I don't want this front piece. It was just there just for pretend. And now I've got 4 pieces moving up like that. I mean, that looks better. It looks like you've got some height to it. I don't know if that's really going to be effective because a mini is going to be, well, let's make a little mini real quick. Cylinder, 12.5, 25. Almost drew that on the money. And what's going to happen is that this guy is going to be on one of these stairs, and that's a 5 foot. That's a 5 foot step. So that's 1 inch. And the thing is going to be. Let's get this thing where it's just just isolate these things. All right. So what it's going to be, if you go to side view, I mean, he's going to be there, and then he is going to tilt because it's going to not sit perfectly. It's going to want to sit at an angle. It will be like that. Now, that's not that bad of an angle. That to me, I think that'll keep him still upright. He won't fall over. I don't think he's so top heavy. He should be okay, and it'd be kind of an awkward thing where he's kind of angled. But he'll only be there for a minute because most of the time they'll want to get onto the bridge and move on. So we should be able to get away with this. So I say let's go ahead and give it a shot. Let's instance this. Let us rotate this time. 180 degrees. 180 degrees. And then snap the bottom like a Slim Jim to the bottom there. Save this. All right, next we want to get the base part done, and what it's all going to be is just a bunch of stones, very simple. And the way we can do that is taking it from the corner of this piece and stretching it to the corner of that piece, and then just bring it up a little bit. Doesn't matter where, just bring it up some. And then we can go in here to the modifier tab, bring it down a little bit, bring it up, just you can keep it so it's the same piece if you want. Don't worry the fact that it's not sitting on anything right now. We're gonna deal with that later. That'll be an easy piece to do. So right now all we're doing is worrying about the base of the bridge. We want to have them go. I want the stones to go widthwise rather than lengthwise, because those are going to be hell of a long stones if they go this way. And I want them to be actual, like, full-bodied pieces. So we're going to go not this way, this way. And I want them to be fairly good size, so that's a good number. 8 works for me. You can go ahead and I split that up one just if you want to, but I'm going to have cobblestones on top of this thing, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're just having this as your base and that's all you're going to have, that's what the minis are going to be on, then go ahead and put the split in there, and that way you can tell. But see how these segments do not match up with the 1-inch grid that we have below it? And that's why I'm not worried too much about it, because I'm going to put the cobblestones on top, and those are going to fit into 1-inch grids. So for now, that's fine where it is. I want them to be a little bit offset of each other, so we're going to kind of do this. And F3 so I can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm going to bevel these out a bit. 0.5 sounds good. And then I'm going to bring them in just a tad bit. Just a little bit. 1.5 is fine. Or 0.15 is fine. Just a little bit so they can have some kind of a thing to them. I can tell you right now that this is probably going to be better printed in certain sections. Like this piece here would print ideal if I print it by itself, this base piece. If I printed all this one piece, yeah, it'll be all solid and that's all cool, but then you're going to have some overhanging right here. It just depends on how much you want to clean up. When you run this thing through your slicer program, before you print this off, that's really when it shows you just how much support you're going to be using, or when it requires. And if it has a lot of support where you don't want to just start working all day on this, then go back and change your model a little bit so that it's more adjustable for the supports. But don't ever model your piece just so you can have no supports or little supports. You're going to have those. That's part of modeling. It's part of this structure. Don't limit yourself, your imagination, and your creativity from that, because that's just horrible. You're wasting too much valuable resources in your brain. All right, now we've got this little cobblestone this stone base. And it's looking pretty good. That's the base part. Now we're going to put the actual cobblestone bedrock part on top of it. And this one is going to actually be these spaces here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make an actual piece here. Push my snap tool on. I want this piece to be whatever size. It doesn't matter. And I'll adjust all this other stuff later. But right now I want to move it so that it's right there on the side. I want it to be right on the edge of that. Let's see. Actually, eventually we're going to move these pieces out further because the railing, I want the railing to go across this section. Because I don't want the handrails to go inward, because that's going to cut off your 1 inch. So the railing is going to go out, and it's going to usually come to the middle piece and go in. So these pieces are actually going to go, might as well do that now while I'm thinking of it. So go to the top view. I'm going to go to the vertices. And what I want to do for now is just eyeball it. Let me use both sides. And what you can do is use this. If you have vertices and you want them to move them universally in the opposite directions, use your scale tool. Have vertices is just about the only one that'll do this. Your polys, your edges, none of this will do this, but you can do it with the vertices, and just basically point it in the rod in the direction that you want them to go, and they'll magically go in the opposite direction. Unfortunately, polys don't do that, which kind of sucks. Again, don't worry about the fact that it's not connected to anything. We'll deal with that here in a second. It's immaterial. Right now, we need to focus on this piece here. This is going to be a cobblestone, so we're going to have several pieces like that. And I don't want them to be lengthwise. I want them to be widthwise. So I need one number to be bigger than the other, and I want it to be the length bigger than the other. That way they go horizontally, side to side. And here's kind of a cool trick. So we can do the copies and pastes right now and actually get our segments ready to go. Instanced. And then watch as all of them work together. Now, check this out. So I'm going to go ahead and make my copy early. Make it an instance. I'm going to make sure that it is stuck right up against that one so that I have it exactly. So these are 1-inch pieces precisely. But instead, if it is exactly 1 inch, which it's 25.4, which is this case, I should be able to make a 90-degree turn on this, and it should fit perfectly. Let's see what it does. 90 degrees. Now, what just happened? Well, unfortunately, it turned my my pieces orientation differently. And that kind of throws me off, That kind of messes up my OCD. What could be done with this, though, is because it's all instanced. Check this out. It would, if you extrude, it does it, but see how it's different because we've rotated it 90 degrees? We'll rotate these 90 degrees anyway, just like the bases of the pillars, because that way it makes it inconsistent. Alternatively, what we'll do, instead of it doing it that way, what we'll do is we'll do it in halves. We'll instance this and move them there, and instance it again and move it there. I want to make sure that he's lined up. He doesn't seem like he's lined up. He is. All right, this way we do it is an effective way, and then what we can do is we can copy it over here, but instead of it being that way, we can move it 180 degrees. So it will be essentially mirrored, and then copy it over here. And then copy it right there. So now we've got, you can't see it, but we got these three are 180 degrees. They're mirrored from the other three, but all of them are instanced. So now we can just concentrate on one and see what happens. We can put the edit poly on it, and we can go to town on this thing. Watch this crazy thing. Excuse me. So just start grabbing. Make sure that you have select object selected this time. It's easier to move things and not have too much problems here. Don't go too crazy. Just grab a few. You can grab a couple of big ones if you want to. It's fine. Something like that. Okay? And now we want to edit. We want to bevel this one because we're going to bring them all up. Now watch this. See how that all comes up together? And if you're looking at this, there's no way in the world you can see that that's truly, I mean, we could even mirror that again. But basically, that is pretty inconsistent. You've got some chaos there that doesn't quite show up with the tiling. Be sure to bring the cobblestones inward a little bit because that's what cobblestones do. We can worry about changing those later. Now, as a kind of a filler thing, what we can see about doing is we can rotate these 180 degrees. So they've been flipped, and then on top of them, two of them been flipped. So now that they're the same orientation as the one next to it. But again, if you push F4, you ain't gonna tell. I mean, there's different rows on these things, and if you really wanted to go and make it chaotic, you can, but there's just no point. No one's gonna sit there, and if they do call you out, well, then tell them to suck it, because this is dumb. It's all about getting this thing done in time. Add another edible poly. Go to town on a few more. That's good. And then bevel. And then this time I want it to be not quite so high. And you can actually switch it to poly by polygon, because you want them to be not the ones that are right next to each other will split apart like that, as opposed to local, neutral, which will normal, which will put them together. You can actually split them apart like that. It makes it nice. Again, inconsistency. But again, they're going to be close enough that the piece is just going to sit on it. The thing is huge. You're talking about a whole base here. And it's all about displacement, just like in water. If you have a wide surface, the wider the surface, the more uneven the surface can be with a piece on top of it without being lopsided. Do we want to add another one? You betcha. One more. There we go. That's better. And then this one, let's go higher than the other ones. Just a little bit. Oh, I did the wrong one. I needed to go bevel instead of extrude. There we go. That's all she wrote. That's all you need. And you got your cobblestones. Now, do you want to make them round? You can if you want. I mean, that goes the extra distance. So you want to add edible poly definitely on this one, because this is going to be kind of crazy. And what you're going to do is select edge, go F, so you can see the edges here. And what you're trying to do is you're going to select basically everything except the base part of it. You're going to, everything that's extruded, all the edges are going to need to be grabbed like this. Now, the first thing you do when you click on chamfer, it's going to go crazy on you. So don't panic when you push this button. See what it does? Don't panic. First thing you do is you zero out the height. Get that to 0, and then breathe. Okay? All you're going to do is make this go just a little bit, not very far, and then move these up a little bit so that it has a couple of segments to it. So maybe like 2.5, and then that's good enough. Don't put a whole bunch of corner segments on this thing, because it's going to be itty bitty as it is. That'll be good enough. Make sure you push the check mark, deselect, and now you've got cobblestones. And they're just like you would anywhere else. Yeah, there's some pieces that are flat, some pieces that aren't. That's cobblestone for you. That's bricks. That's what you're gonna want. You can do the same thing for these pieces here if you would like. They can be separate pieces for all I care. We can worry about that later. Right now, I just want to keep working on this. That's a heck of a jump up from one piece to the other. You see that? And that kind of sucks. So what we need to do is bring these bad boys back down to earth. Just go back, add another edible poly grab everything except the base and just bring it down. And all of them will come down because you've instanced this. This is the important power of the instancy. You just bring it down to whatever level you want, because that looks like much better to me. It's not quite so crazy. And it goes across. We're still looking groovy. Okay? Let's save this as 7. And let's sip a little bit more of this adult beverage. That was the last drop. Oh, man. Some parts of it does not go down as smooth as the other ones. Whew. Warms the belly. All right. Enough moving this thing around so I can see it. All right, so the next thing is we're going to put the railing in. And the railing, all that is going to be is 2 rows of stone blocks offset one another. So, one piece is above the crack of the 2 below it, just like you would see in like bricks and things like that. And then they'll have a little cap at the top that runs along the top because it needs to be sealed off as a flat surface. And then we're going to put little spikes at the top because that's what we're going to do. So let's do that. All right. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to just select these. And we're going to isolate it because this is all that matters. I know that this is the inside where the cobblestone ends. I know this middle piece is where the middle section of the pillars are. And that's roughly where the base is. So that's what I want. I want this width. I want a half piece. Okay? That's all I wanted to do, just to make it easy for me to actually grab that. Get the align tool. I want it on top of the bedrock. It's already set, minimum, maximum Z. So it sits right there nice and pretty. Okay. We can leave the pieces down below the bedrock piece. We can leave it as is. We can pull it out further if we want. It doesn't matter. If we're going to do that, just make sure, again, you grab that side, grab all of this side, and hit your scale button on the T. Bar back to P so you can actually see what you're doing again after you've done that. And you can see that it comes out a little bit more. So now it feels like it actually is sitting right there nice and pretty. How high does this want to go? Well, usually it goes up higher than the pillars sometimes. It's up to you on this. This would be suitable, and I think it would be kind of nice visually. However, you do see a little bit of a gap there. And we might be able to do something about that here in a second. That's one way of doing it. You can bring it up just a tad bit. I don't want to bring it up too much because there's going to be a cap on this thing. So I'll bring it up just slightly above it. That'll be good enough. That's good. All right. Now, here's the thing. We have already made these 4 pillars as they are. They're currently instanced, so if I make any adjustments to one side, all of them on their respectable sides oriented correctly. So if I do this side here and this one's turned 90 degrees, then this side turned 90 degrees, which would be over here, would be the one being affected by it. I am going to make all 4 of these unique so that I'm going to go in here and flatten just this inside and all these pieces here so that it's one flat piece, and then this thing goes right up against it, butts right up against it. Why? Because I want it to be. L. There we go. This is the cobblestone. This is the base. This is my wall. I want all of this to be one side here. I need all of this to be one side. So we're going to select it all. Oops. L. We're going to select all of it on that side. I'm just selecting everything under the sun on that side after I've made this unique, and we're going to flatten it. And I want to say it will be the Y. No. Come over here and select the X. There you go. X will do it, and now you flatten it out, all out there. It doesn't even look like, there's nothing there anymore. Does that look like crap? Well, that's fine. You can still come back here, and if you want to, you can actually, you might be able to get away with, that's going to be tight. But I was going to say, you could actually bring these two pieces out. You definitely can bring this one out and leave it as is and just flatten those inside. Maybe I should do that. Let's do that. The problem is the base doesn't do. I wanted to have this piece. I don't want to have this piece out. So let's leave that. Let's leave those. Let's leave that one. Let's leave this one. Yeah, I'm just gonna flatten the other half. Not this half. So that I have basically everything else except that piece. I don't want this top piece. I don't want any of this right here. That will have to go on its own. Or will it? No, I take that back. I was right. Hold down Control. Oh, I deselected everything. Crap. Go back. There we go. Control Z is your friend. I want all that. All right. Now I've got basically, if I look at F3, I've got all the left side. You see that? I've got all the left side selected. I've ignored the right side, and I've got the top cap selected. I'm going to flatten just those pieces. See what happens. So now we've got it up like this. Now it kind of still looks fine from the outside. This piece here looks weird though. That doesn't look right. That should not have gone in. Let's do that. Let's go forward. And then this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece. Come out. Like that. That's good. That's still good. It looks really weird though. Okay. Now we've got this piece here. We can actually make it an editable poly. No, not yet. We're not done yet. But we can basically go into there and make it flush now. We want to make these unique. Unfortunately, we've got to do it to every one of them. We need to do L. Do these again. And then basically select all of those and the top. And then deselect everything on the left. And then just these pieces. And this piece right here. Just make sure that everything on the left side is unselected. And the one on the right. Now this piece is going to suck. So you may have to go in here and just go ahead and bite the bullet because this is one piece. So this piece going in won't really look right. Because it'll be angled. So just make sure that you have it all set up like that. And then hit your X. Nope. Hit your Y. Hit your Y because that's, what you're supposed to do. So see, that's kind of screwed up right there. Everything else is flat and it's fine. But if you push F4, then you got this weird piece there that's kind of at an angle. That might be okay. This one isn't, though. This one needs to come out. Say hi to everybody, because that looks weird. Come out. There you go. That's good enough. This did not seem like it did what it was supposed to do. All these pieces here did not, so that was wrong. So I did not select all the pieces like I was supposed to. Oh yeah, I missed them. You see that? I missed these top pieces. Not that piece. All right, let's try it again. And then I want it to be the same line as the one next to it. So I want it right there. Bang! Right there. That way they're both about the same. Same distance. Same distance. I mean, we're running up there already, close to 8 o'clock already. Dang. But now you can see that it's basically flattened. And so the piece can really, really shine right there. Let's do the same thing right here. Unique. Add a poly. Go to L. Select everything. Deselect the bottom. Deselect everything to the right. F3. Deselect the pieces that are jutted out to the right. And nothing else. Like that. There we go. And then make sure the top is selected all the way across. Yeah. Now we just got the ones on the left. And what button is it going to be this time? Not the Y. It's back to the X again. There we go. Flat. Flat. Ooh. Did I do something wrong there? I did. I missed some vertices again. Make sure this top piece has all those vertices selected. I've done that twice now. And see if it works this time. There we go. And then bring these smaller pieces need to come out. Something like that. It seems. What's something wrong here? That's all flat. Why isn't it? Yeah, that'll be fine. It's fine. Okay. All right, and one more. And then we're done. And then we can move on to the rails real quick. That's already unique because it's the last of its kind. The last. I am the last one. I killed every dragon out there. I am the last one. Get the top. Remove the supports. I can't see squat. Alright, now I can. I don't want this piece right here. I don't want this piece right there. I just think that's good enough. Is it Y today? It looks like Y. Yep, it's Y. Why ask why? Try alcohol-free dry. Alright, and then bring this little boy out. He is happy. He gets to come out and play today. Alright. Now, we save. And now we can move these bad boys right up against, let's see. First of all, I want it to be two rows of stones. I do not want it to be 13. I only want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's fine. And then nothing on the top. but I want to make these offset. So I need to double that, unfortunately. So it's 22. Isn't that right? So I'd be, so instead of 11, because I need need to be one like this piece, that piece. Screw it. I'll just leave it like that, because we're running out of time, and I want to get this done. All right, so edible poly. First thing we do, we move it right over here so that it's right up against that. See how it's nice and flush? And nothing is going inside. If we go inside the box, there's nothing in the box. You can see there's nothing coming through because it's all flat. That's what we like. That's what we want to see. Do the same thing over here. Just push it up against it. Do not use the align tool, because the line tool will deceive you, because these pieces here that are jutting out, overall, the entire overall shape of it, it's actually the base, it's the highest point. So if you want to try to butt it up against that, use the line tool, it'll actually align you to there and not to there. Why? Because that's the edge of the box itself, the overall image. All right, let's get started here. That's just an adjustment. That's not that big a deal. We just go to town on this. Let's see. Excuse me. I think we just bevel. Bevel. Extrude 1.5. Negative 0.5. There. Do the same thing. Because they all remember last time that you did this. I remember you just kept asking me to bevel over and over again. Do you not know I can do billions of operations, and you make me do this simple part of the trick over and over again? Do we put it on the inside? Well, not really, because if you do, then you're going to start making it a little bit tight for that 1-inch square that you're going to be putting there. So I pretty much leave it smooth and just say, hey, they chiseled it out. That's great. All right. Now, I want this piece here. Make sure that I've got it all centered. And I am going to bevel this one, because I want it to go up like about a millimeter. And that's it. That's it. That's the little capstone part of it, because it just kind of seals it off. And if you push F4, it's got like, you'll see, you can paint that whatever color you want. Am I going to put little straps on the top? Yeah, maybe so. But for right now, I want to bring these edges in, because they just look awful. So I might be able to see. Watch this scale. It doesn't work with edges. To bring them both in, I want both of these sides. I want this side. I want this side. Make sure I'm not. Oop, I did. Make sure I don't select the bottom. And then I can bring in the scale, use the Y, and bring it both in. That way they've got a little bit of a cuspy cusp. Do we chamfer this? You bet your butt we do. Why? Because we have to. Do we want to put it at different sizes? Or different distances? We can. I don't really like it that way, because this is more of a structured wall. And the bottom piece under here is already off-centered or offset. So it's better just to keep them like this. I think they look a bit better. I do not want the center pieces selected. I do not want these top pieces selected. Why? Because they're just pretend. They don't exist. I want the edge. I want the edge of each of these pieces. I don't want. I wouldn't. Oh, crap. Don't do that. Push L. Don't hold down Alt and start moving your middle mouse button, because that changes everything. Just hold down Alt and make sure that you've got. I want to have just the extruded pieces, but not the segment parts, because that's not going to be there. If you take those away, that's what I want. So basically, if you see an edge after you hit F4, then that's where the chamfer needs to be. All right, once again, zeroed out, make it to, I don't know, 1.5. It's what we've been seeming like doing. And then see if we can roll this thing a little bit. You can make it even more if you want to. Something like that. What happened there? What happened here? Everything else is fine. It looks like I screwed up. Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. It looks like there was nothing I did wrong there. Looks fine. I don't see why that looks so horrible, though. Let's try it again. I want to see what this chamfer. It looks like it's, oh no, it's fine. It's split, but it's still fine. This looks like there's just a, looks like this piece here is like flipped or something. But, I mean, that's how the rest of them are. They all are like that. Ooh, that's one of the reasons it kind of split up like that. That's not, I don't want. Do I want that? Do I care? Push F4 and you can definitely see some weird splitting there. I don't think that's avoidable. I don't think that's avoidable. Hello, there's some lovely filth over here, Dennis. Oh, how do you do? How do you do, good woman? Who lives in that castle? Ask her it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it right. That's good enough. That's good enough. Sometimes you end up over-modeling stuff that you don't need to over-model. You want to instance this thing and mirror it on the X so that it faces away from you. And you want it to be, right up against this one. And so you can use your alignment tool, and it's just going to be on the X. You don't need the Y. And just put it up against that minimum maximum. And it's already butted up against everything, so we're good to go there. Okay, here we go. There we go. Don't tell me we got a bridge done. One thing we were talking about is, well, what happens about the underside? It doesn't look right. Well, that's what we're going to do real quick. Last thing before we're done, the support. We are going to make this look like it has an arch to it. And we do this by... Oh, you know what? That thing is going to look like crap. What is that? It looks like it's inside. That's one piece, right? That's one. Yeah, it's just one piece sitting on top of itself. Okay. So, never mind. Oh, these pieces definitely don't match. That's not good. Those are not on top of each other. Let's make sure that we've got it right. And we don't. It's this piece. And this piece. And does that make this piece screwed up? Sure looks like it. Let's make sure we get the grid, guys, because that's what the important part of this whole operation is. Turn off that. We need Y. Yep, that was it. Y, and then put the maximum on there so it's right up against. Well, no, it didn't work. It. See how it's still off-centered? That's not good, guys. That's not good at all. So, what do? What do we do? Well, the easiest way is to, because we know this is now centered, we take the two pieces, isolate them. And because we decided to make them with this middle piece here, this middle segment, everything's going to snap onto each other. So just take the middle piece and just snap it back. But we need to do it for the other side because this is, well, I don't know. We got to make sure. We got to check ourselves. That's good, but this isn't. Yep, that's not good. You can see it's off-centered. That means this one's off-centered. I'm a bad person. There. And now we take this and this and isolate them. And we just want this piece here, nothing else. And we want it to go back to the beginning. Is this the same way? It sure as hell is. That sucked. See, this is why we make really careful calculations. Will this matter when things are on there? Well, yeah, you'll have this little lip there now, which kind of sucks. And we rotated everything 90 degrees so we can unique things. That's probably the way to do it. Yeah, just make it unique because we're only wanting to do it on these two ends. And find you a good point and then move it back. Do the same thing for this piece. Unique it. Grab it from the front. Make sure you got everything. And move it back. You have to do the same thing for the other side. Unique. If you don't put a unique, they're all going to have little gaps. And because you rotated them 90 degrees, they're not going to add up right. Like that. Unique. There we go. Okay. Now everything's good. Save it real quick. All right, real quick. We got 5 minutes left. We can do this. Go to your create, go to your splines, make an arc. And we're going to start at the base here. And we are going, well, we really need to build us a reference point. So we're going to put a plane here. We're going to start from the base here all the way to the top right there. We're going to make sure that we're on exactly where we are, so that's all measured perfectly. We don't need these. All right. So now what we're going to do is isolate this by itself. So we just have this plane. We're going to use it as a measuring tool. We're going to go to the spline section, which is in your create tab. Second little piece over is your create for your spline. Start at the bottom And this one in particular is going to just have one arc all the way across it. It's not going to have a central point. So we're just going to drag this over to the other piece and then snap it to the top like that, so that you have a nice even piece like that. Then you're going to take your rectangle, go from here to there. Okay? Select all that, deselect your rectangle or your plane. Just have your splines, the rectangle and the arc you just made, and isolate that so that you have this piece here. Right click after you select your rectangle, right click and go to convert to editable spline. Turns into a spline, remove the base piece, because all we're doing is making this arc. Just like we did with the other things, we need to attach this piece with the other piece. So just go ahead and attach it, just with the attach button. But the thing is, we don't want it to be this little piece. We need to be two pieces together, basically, or two separate pieces, because that's just too thin right there. So select the segments right there, all of them, and click divide. And that basically goes in there and it makes these little pieces, these little segments. And then you go to vertex, select those two. It should be two vertices, yes. And click break. So now there should be 4 vertices there, which there are. And you want to make sure that you've got that one is there. That one is there. So basically what you do is you take just this piece here, move it over to one side. Combine these 2 vertices together by welding them just like you would otherwise. Combine these 2, weld them, and go around the horn, because the pieces, because we are connected a rectangle and an arc together. So now that it's one piece there. So now if we just select this piece, it does that. If we select this piece, it does that. So now we have actual 2 pieces here. They need to essentially be separated. So we can detach. Same thing from here. We've detached over here on the right. After you click on spline, click on OK. So you have 2 pieces. Center your anchor point. We've done that before. And then extrude. Extrude it out however much for now. It's fine. Do the same thing for the other one. It automatically does it. Unhide. Delete that original plane. We don't need that anymore. But now we've got these 2 sweet arcs. When we print these, we'll print them upside down because there'll be tons of support underneath it. But if we flip them upside down, like that, then they'll print just fine. The problem is putting them in there might be kind of a pain because they don't want to set up to each other. But if you, we could theoretically fuse them together, I guess. I didn't think about that, but maybe we could. Edit poly, attach, make those 2 together, and then what we could do is just make them so that they're this piece here. Man, that's so freaking. See how close that is? It's the same. Yeah, that's just not going to work. I'm going to go back. Back to the beginning. And I don't want that one. I just want one. And it's 8 o'clock. Dang it. Ran out of time. Oh, well. Let's see what if I can do this real quick. Let me see here. Make a whole bunch of rectangles. We'll run a little bit late. Why not? So I'm in a rhythm and I want to play. Instead of the arc being down that far, we can actually make it. Oops. that piece back. That's the length that I wanted. I'm going to sneeze real quick. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. Make the arc actually the whole length, but instead it's going to go only halfway. That's what I should have done to begin with. Sorry, guys. I should have known better. And then go there. Convert to editable spline. Attach. Remove. And you can usually just select all those when it comes to splines and just click weld and it does all of them. Extrude. Delete the old one. And then delete this plane again and then snap it to there. And it should snap perfectly to this side, which it does. And now you can actually do something really cool. You can make it centered on X, or you can and then make your centered object anchor point, and then you can just sit there on the T and bring it out however you want, like that. And now you've got this nice long arc that goes underneath it. See how that turned out? And that will support everything. And the nice thing is with doing it this way, if you print that out, you'll print it out upside down, and then you slide that underneath everything. Once you put everything together and everything fits, then it fits just nicely. I mean, there's a little bit of a gap right there, but I'll work on that. And then this piece actually should go, now that I've got this set up here, this actually should go farther to be flush with this. Yeah, it should be flush like that. That's just part of it. And do the same thing over there. To the roof off the do maximum like this. Had to rush here at the end, but we actually managed to get an entire thing done in one night. How about that? Save it, and we're good to go. That is basically your bridge. And like I said, next thing we'd have to do is to figure out how you want to print it, how it's going to print right, what orientations, if you're going to print like pieces together. A lot of this is vertical, so you might have, like for instance, this piece would need to print on its side like this, so that all that overhang would print nice and clean. You wouldn't have any supports, and you would just set it right there on top of it, things like that. And you just throw some glue on there and you're good to go. So easy peasy Japanesey. And then we can get rid of the this plane, because that was just representing the size. Oh. Get rid of these planes here. Just keep clicking until you get like one piece. And then make sure you didn't delete anything. Yep, there you go. There you go. There's your bridge. All right, save it as a final. And I will get renderings out there, put this on Facebook tonight. And then we will do a test print tomorrow. I'm going to try. I might be able to print this off because this won't take very long to print. But I'll work on the rest of it, this bridge tonight, and make several different iterations and sizes and lengths. Because this is 4x5, we want to make them various different ones, like 4x5, 4x3, 4x6, that sort of thing. But this is good. So look for the prints or the renderings tonight to be put on Facebook, and then look for tomorrow or Friday, either one, to have actual photos of the test prints whenever this thing comes out. So, all right, until then, thank you so much for joining. We kicked really serious butt tonight and got this thing done. I'm really happy with it, and I think it's going to turn out to be a really good model. And like I said, we'll make several different versions of this lengthwise, and then also we'll work on making a wood bridge, kind of a rickety swamp-like wood bridge, and then we'll also make a true arc bridge that kind of sweeps up and then comes back down. We'll do all that on Monday. Hopefully we'll have enough time to do it all. So sorry I ran a little bit late tonight, but glad to see this thing done. As always, I appreciate all of you stopping in, sitting around, drinking beer with me or whatever you're drinking, your juicy juice, and having a good time. And look forward to seeing you all guys next Monday, 6 o'clock Central Time. Until then, this is me. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves and stay out of trouble. See ya.